Good evening. I call to order this City of Jarrell special called City Council meeting, Thursday, April 6, 2023 at 7 p.m. First item on the agenda is roll call. We are all present. We will now have a invocation of Pledge of Allegiance led by Jeff Sadell.
Good evening. As we gather here tonight for this City Council meeting, let us take a moment to reflect on the importance of doing the right thing and treating each other kindly. May we be guided by our conscience and strong sense of integrity as we make decisions that affect our community. Let us remember that we're here united by a common goal, and that's creating a better future for ourselves and our city. Let us consider each other with respect, even when we disagree on certain issues. With these thoughts, let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. Help us make decisions that are fair and just and that benefit our community as a whole. Remind us to always do the right thing, even when it may be difficult. And as always, God, we ask your continued providence in keeping our children and city safe. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two public comments. First is Mr. Larry Bush.
Hi,
Thank you. No problem.
Council, Mayor,
Good evening.
as a simple citizen of the city of Jarrell now, I have come across and listened to some of the chatter that's going on specifically around council and some of the decisions. So, as I want to do, I went back to the TML handbook for mayors and council members. I'm sure all of us read a little bit of it every day just to keep up on it, all 10 chapters and 82 pages. The part that made it into, when I was taking a look at it, trying to figure out what parts were real and what parts were just people not being able to deal with some things, was a statement in there that says the council is responsible for weighing the evidence presented at the hearing and after due consideration reaching a decision. The hearing is a very broad term for whatever council decides to sit in and do. So I went down, and one of the parts I got in there was in chapter 8 in the conflict of interest. Now, out of the TML handbook, it says mayors and council members are expected to avoid involvements that put their own personal interests at cross purposes with those of the public. In most cases, good judgment is enough to keep city officials within the bounds of propriety. In other words, correct moral behavior actions. There are, however, state laws governing the behavior of city officials. At least 3 situations can impair the ability of mayors or council members to properly perform their duties. All 3 involve conflicts of interest in which a member of the city council is placed in a position of owing loyalty to the interest of the city on one hand, and to some other interest in the other. Chapter 171 of the Texas Government Code says examining the pending matter and determine whether the council member or a related person has a substantial interest in the business or property that would be beneficially affected by a decision of the city council on that matter. I proffer up, and please don't take this wrong, because I'm not saying that anything is wrong, but we have a Cynthia Clausen, okay, is the daughter of one of the owners that we're currently in litigation with, okay? And Cynthia is council member Clausen's daughter-in-law. So we have a relationship problem there, consanguinity, but it's there. The other problem I've got is that both Cynthia and her husband Troy and councilperson Clausen are 3 of the 4 officers at Al Clausen Disposal Incorporated. So now we've got both a business and a personal part where we're looking at the potential being there of owing, and that's strictly as I'm using the position of owing loyalty to interest other than what's in the city. Not saying that's happened, I wouldn't have any interest in believing, but the problem is that ours is always the image, the propensity to look into it. The second part I want to talk about is the office of the mayor. The mayor occupies the highest elective office in the municipal government. As political head of the city, the mayor is expected to provide the leadership necessary to keep it moving in the right direction. And I totally believe that. I suffered through it for 8 years. When you were elected, I told you that I would do whatever it is you needed me to do to make sure that you were successful. Because if you weren't successful, then the city wasn't going to be. I have to say that at the social media presentation at the last council meeting that was in here, you did not include all the evidence. As your videographer presented it to a wide audience, you did not present the city side of the ongoing negotiations. You didn't ask your staff for all of the documents, including the emails previous officers offers so that we didn't have to go to condemnation. Staff notes on meetings with dates and times. I have dealt with this group for over 15 and a half years, and you did not ask me what my experiences were and what was the city's position in having to move forward with condemnation. I would have told you that they are not new to the process. They have been involved in 3 condemnation proceedings since I came to office in 2007. This is just their mode. It's not wrong, okay? It's just, this is the way they prefer to do business, okay? Nothing moral, immoral, that's all there is to it. The neglected group, okay, in these ongoing discussions are the citizens of the city of Jarrell. They're going to be the ones that are going to have to pay whatever financial compensation to these parties out of our property taxes. I don't know what those numbers are. That's yours to decide whatever it is. I don't know whether it's tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we, the citizens, are the ones that are going to have to pay. So my question to you is, who on this council is going to represent these citizens? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have another one. Deborah Doss. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, as one of the citizens that you referred to, and during the time that you were in office, we tried very hard to be heard, and no one would listen to us. So we were very thankful when someone did reach out to speak to the council. We are also citizens, we are part of the community, and condemnation does not have to be where this thing ends up. We've tried for well over a year, and you even mentioned to us that you thought it could be resolved if we sat down and talked to each other, but you never reached out. Rusty mentioned the same thing, she never reached out. Someone did eventually reach out. I feel like we are caught in an internal
Man, it's
struggle.
good. Director.
Sorry, I feel like we're caught in an internal struggle with the council that really has nothing to do with the landowners, and I think that's unfortunate, and I ask you to please put your differences aside and just do what's right. It's gonna be a lot cheaper for the citizens and for everybody, I think, if we avoid litigation and settle. And my real purpose in getting up here this evening was just to say that your attorney had reached out to our attorney, I think last Wednesday. We didn't see any paperwork until after 6 Tuesday evening. Our attorney got an email, and that was a kind of a template draft to settle for one of the landowners. It wasn't us, but they're trying to get the language together. So we saw we were on the agenda tonight. That's the first we knew that there was a meeting. I'm not sure what, if anything, you're voting on this evening, but I just wanted you to be aware of where we were in the process from our aspect. We haven't seen any final paperwork yet. We're hopeful that that's coming, and that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, item 3, executive session. At any time during the meeting, the council reserves the right to adjourn into executive session on any of the above posted agenda items in accordance with the sections 551.071, litigation and certain consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberations about real property, 551.073, deliberations about gifts and donations to city, 551.074, deliberations on certain personnel matters, or 551.076, deliberations about employment, implementation of security personnel or devices, and 551.087, economic development. Jarrell City Council is now adjourned at 7:10. Good, it's gonna be sure.
Yeah, right.
The Jarrell City Council is now back in session at 9:08 p.m. Next item on the agenda is 3.1. Nope, 4.1, discussion of possible action regarding the appointment, employment evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee to wit, police chief. No action. Next item is 4.2, discussion of possible action regarding the appointment, employment evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee to wit, city council members. No action. Item 4.3, discussion and possible action regarding City of Jarrell versus Charles A. Barton and Michelle Barton in County Court of Law Number 1, Williamson County Docket Number 23-0368-CC1.
Make a motion to approve a settlement agreement in the form provided by the city attorney regarding Jarrell versus Charles Barton, ETAL, County Court at Law Number 1, Docket 23-0368-CC1, with a settlement payment not to exceed $38,450, and authorizing the mayor to execute the final documents related thereto. Second.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous. Item number 4.4, discussion of possible action regarding the City of Jarrell versus Joe R. Foytek and Joanne Foytek in County Court of Law Number 2, Williamson County Docket Number 23-0034-CC2.
Make a motion to approve a settlement agreement in the form provided by the city attorney regarding Jarrell versus Joe R. Fortek, ETA, County Court at Law Number 2, Docket 23-0034-CC2, with settlement payment not to exceed $27,250, and authorizing the mayor to execute the final documents related thereto. Second.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous. Agenda item 4.5, discussion of possible action regarding the City of Jarrell versus Donald G. Swetner and Deborah D. Swetner in County Court of Law Number 3, Williamson County, Docket Number 23-0035-CC3.
Make a motion to approve a settlement agreement in the form provided by the city attorney regarding Jarrell versus Donald G. Swetner, ETAL County Court at Law Number 3, Docket 23-0035-CC3, with settlement of payment not to exceed $34,850, and authorizing the mayor to execute the final documents related thereto. Second.
We have a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous. And item 4.6, discussion of possible action regarding the City of Jarrell versus Louis Straka, and Annie Isaac in County Court of Law Number 2, Williamson County, Docket Number 23-0385-CC2.
Make a motion to approve a settlement agreement in the form provided by the city attorney regarding Jarrell versus Louis Straka, ETAL County Court at Law Number 2, Docket 23-0385-CC2, with settlement payment not to exceed $19,035, and authorizing the mayor to execute the final documents related thereto.
Mayor, have to second with discussion.
Yes. What'd you have to say?
In prior city comments, there were comments made, since I'm Tanya Clark serving, that I have a direct relation with the parties described, Louise Straka, and Mr. Annie Heisek. I was described as being a daughter-in-law. I have no relation to the parties listed in this Williamson County docket number 23-0386 CC2. I have no direct relation with those parties.
Good to know. Is there any further discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous? Everything? All right. This will conclude tonight's meeting. The Jarrell City Council is adjourned at 9:13 p.m.